for me, like there's two types of love that you give somebody, and it's like I love that person unconditionally, and I want to see them prosper and be happy no matter what that entails for me. And there's a type of love that's selfish and restricted, and I want them all to myself. And that was Kenzie with Dom.
Hello, my friends. Like the rest of the world, I guess right now, I am pretty hooked on this Mackenzie Shirilla case, due in large part to the Netflix documentary that was just released called The Crash. She's the girl that was convicted of driving her car over 100 miles an hour into a brick wall, taking the life of her boyfriend Dominic and their friend Davion. One of the things I think is so fascinating about this case is what the prosecutors throughout the trial called Mackenzie's shocking lack of remorse.
And again, Your Honor, I'm introducing these to the court to show the shocking lack of remorse. And the shocking lack of remorse.
And there are several examples of her lack of remorse, and one of them is this Halloween costume. She wore it just a couple of months after the love of her life, supposedly, passed away, and it was her fault, and she's wearing this. And I understand that her friends have an explanation as to why they were wearing those costumes, but it's partly the costumes themselves, but it's also the fact that she's just going out, living her best life, acting like nothing happened. Just a couple of months after it did happen. Now, I'm not going to go over all the details of the case. I do recommend watching the documentary, but honestly, I kind of recommend going down the rabbit hole a little bit because Netflix left quite a bit out of the documentary. Mackenzie is far more obviously guilty than they portrayed her. She really is a monster. But one thing the documentary does really well, in my opinion, is portray Mackenzie's parents as the enablers that they are. They have spent her entire life bending over backwards to make excuses for her, run interference for her, and just make sure she never faces any consequences for her horrible behavior throughout her life. And we will see that on full display here in just a minute. But something I found really interesting while I was watching the documentary was when it comes to the friends and family that are still sticking by Mackenzie's side, their main argument, trying to prove that Mackenzie really did show remorse or that she couldn't possibly have done it intentionally, was to just say, look at how sad she was when Dominic passed. Basically trying to say that that is the remorse that everybody says is missing. Now, whether she's actually sad and actually misses him is kind of up for debate because she's also a very good manipulator. But honestly, she may very well be sad, but I don't think it's for the reasons that we would be sad that we lost a loved one. And being sad that he's gone is not the same as being remorseful for what she's done. And I think it all comes down to the type of love that Mackenzie had for Dominic. So let's talk about it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. So we're going to start off with the encounter that Mackenzie's mom had with the judge at the sentencing hearing. Basically, Mackenzie had opted for a bench trial, meaning there was no jury. The judge was the one that decided, innocent or guilty. And at this point, Mackenzie has already been convicted by the judge. So keep that in mind. And also, I'm going to play the whole thing because it's fascinating, but really just focus in on the first part where she's explaining how Mackenzie was behaving after Dominic passed.
She would never, ever, ever murder the love of her life. Okay? For Halloween, for 3 months after the accident, she would only wear his clothes. She would only eat the snacks he ate. She would only listen to the music he wrote, okay? She was laying in bed for 3 months crying. There was a shrine of him next to her with photos and things that he liked, and this flower that lights up that he got her because he wanted it to be fresh and alive forever. It's like a little Beauty and the Beast flower. Okay, she's got this shrine of him next to her. So she was crying for 3 months. So her friends asked if she wanted to go out trick-or-treating or Halloween, and it was at OU. And she didn't even want to go. She said, I don't know, should I go? She couldn't even walk yet, barely. So I told her, I said, baby, please go. It's Halloween. You've been laying for 3 months crying, only listening to his music. Please go have just a moment of fun. A moment of fun. So we told her to go. My husband drove her. I brought her back home. She just needed a second of fun from losing her whole world. Her whole world. So that was us. We told her to go. And that concert she went to with Dom's cousin, Abby, they picked her up. They brought her there. That was Mackenzie and Dom and Abby all decided to go to this concert together while they were in the hospital. That was for Dom. Everything she did after the accident was either in honor of him, to be close to him, or just to be by him any way that she can. She's like devastated and tragic. He was the air that she breathes, okay? And they went with his cousin. We spent all kinds of time with him after the accident. What was the other thing?
I'm hearing an awful lot about your daughter. I'm not hearing very much about the two dead people.
Dominic, okay? I'm asking you for leniency because this was a tragic accident that she does not remember. And Davion, he's a new friend. And I'm so sorry.
What does that mean? His life is worthless?
No.
Okay.
God, no, not at all. They all loved each other. They all spent every day together. You know what I mean? I don't know.
And
too
isn't
much
that
for
part
him.
of the problem, Mrs. Shirilla?
Sorry?
Isn't that part of the problem, that they all trusted each other? Isn't that part of...
It's not a problem at all. It was
It's a
wonderful.
problem how they all ended up in the car together and two of them ended up dead.
I understand. I understand what it looks like. I'm saying that it was a tragic accident. She would never.
Well, we're going to have to disagree on that.
I understand.
Right.
So you hear her say things like she was wearing Dom's clothes and she had a shrine for him and she was listening to his music, anything to be near him, that kind of thing. And assuming these things are true, which they very well could not be, but giving them the benefit of the doubt just for argument's sake, when you first hear it, you think, well, she's really sad because he's gone and maybe that could be some remorse. But I would argue that the reason she's doing all these things is the exact same reason she ended his life to begin with. And that's because it wasn't really love, it was obsession. She was obsessed with him, she was possessive of him, and when she found out that he was going to break up with her, she had the mentality of, if I can't have him, no one can. And that obsession doesn't just go away when he's gone. Now, I am not a professional in anything, really, but just kind of the way I see it is she's had this object of her obsession for years. And then you couple that with the fact that her parents have ensured that she's never felt the discomfort of being told no.
She's a good, if you would have a moment, all you would need is 5 minutes of a conversation to have with her to learn who she is. Just that, you would just need 5 minutes to learn who she is and what she's capable of not doing and doing, and you would see for yourself.
And you end up with someone like this. She doesn't care that Dominic's family lost him, and I'll show an example of that in a minute. She doesn't care that Davion's family lost him. She doesn't care that neither of them are going to be able to grow up and have a family and a career and a life. She's only ever cared about her own feelings. And I think it's pretty clear she didn't intend to walk away from this. And it just sounded like she couldn't handle the emotions involved in, being rejected or Dominic ending up with someone else. So she sought a permanent solution to make sure that didn't happen. And the fact that she was willing to go through with her plan, even though Davion got in the car and ended up being basically collateral damage, shows her complete disregard for anybody else's life. And so I think whatever sadness she feels, if it's real, is for herself. Because it's really not the fact that Dominic is gone, it's that she doesn't have him anymore. And feeling sorry for yourself is not remorse. If she really wanted to show true remorse, she would take responsibility for what she did. But it's pretty clear she is not going to do that. And I think it's because the only thing stronger than her obsession with Dominic is self-preservation. And she's still trying to convince everybody that her memory just kind of went poof right as she started putting the pedal to the metal. So before I get to the next example of Mackenzie's obsession with the things that Dominic left behind, I wanted you to hear this snippet of a phone call between Mackenzie and her mom. And I really recommend going down the rabbit hole of listening to her jail phone calls, because I promise, no matter how bad you think they are worse. And just keep in mind that as Mackenzie was growing up, anytime she would get in trouble, she knew all she had to say was that everybody else was lying and that she was telling the truth, and her parents just believed her.
Like, why is Angelo such a fucking liar? Like, what the fuck? Like,
Kenzie, they're just evil people, baby. I'm sorry. Don't think on it. Do not think on it anymore. Stop. I need you to stop.
So remember, Angelo is Dominic's brother. So they're talking about the family of the person whose life Mackenzie took. And she has the audacity to call them evil. All because, like usual, their perfect, precious little angel, said, everyone else is lying. All the overwhelming evidence is lying. I'm the one telling the truth. And they just believe her.
Hi, Mackenzie. Step out for me. I'm Detective Jesus. I'm the one who's been investigating the crash. You're under arrest for aggravated murder ×2, okay? Nobody's gonna ask you any questions. Nobody's gonna bother you. Can I have your key, please?
Could you please be careful taking this one off so it doesn't break the bracelet, please?
You got it. You got it.
So when this footage was first released, a lot of people were like, why is she so worried about her bracelet? That's weird. That shows quite a lack of remorse, you know, that kind of thing. And of course, according to one of her friends in the documentary, the bracelet was one that was given to her by Dom, or one that he made for her or something like that. And I think in this case, it's partly that obsession. I think she would probably flip out if that bracelet broke, because again, that's what's left of Dominic, and that's all she has left to obsess over. But that's still not remorse. That's still not feeling bad for what she did. That's still feeling sorry for herself and being afraid that she's going to lose another thing that she wants. But as manipulative as we know Mackenzie is, this also could have been for show. She makes a big deal out of not breaking this special bracelet so that later she can say, that was a thing that Dom gave me. Kind of hinting that if I would be upset about this bracelet breaking, then obviously I couldn't have hurt him intentionally. But luckily, the judge and basically everybody saw through that. And in the end, I just found it fascinating that Mackenzie and her family and her team all hung their entire defense on the idea that she didn't remember what happened, just has no idea. And look at how sad she was after Dominic passed. Therefore, she must be innocent. But in my unprofessional and layman's opinion, I think she very well could have been sad that he was gone, but never remorseful for what she did. In fact, I wouldn't put it past her in her twisted mind to have the mindset of, I'm sad that it came to this. I'm sad that I had to do what I had to do, that kind of thing. But the fact that she was sad is not a great argument, because that's not remorse. And it did not come close to outweighing the evidence against her. Again, if you go down the rabbit hole, there are so many phone calls and texts and witness statements and all kinds of stuff that Netflix left out. And honestly, the more I think about it, I'm not sure what to think about the documentary, because they try to be so neutral and sort of start a debate. Even the tagline is, was it an accident? No, it was not. But if you were just to watch the documentary, you might think, well, I don't know, man, it's hard to say. But it is not hard to say, I promise. And if you look on YouTube, you will see video after video after video saying 5 things that they left out of the documentary, 20 things they left out. So again, it is very worth going down the rabbit hole if you're interested at all in this story. So anyway, while I was kind of getting into this and listening to Mackenzie's arguments and her family's arguments, I just kept thinking, that doesn't prove anything. The fact that she is sad that he's gone is not remorse. And it was pretty clear that whatever love she felt was not love, it was obsession. And the fact that basically she's always gotten everything she's ever wanted meant that she just couldn't handle thinking that Dominic could end up with somebody else. And unfortunately, like I said, Davion was just sort of in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that didn't matter to Mackenzie. She had made up her mind that she was not going to allow Dominic to reject her and end up with someone else, and nothing was going to stop her. So I guess in, 12 or 13 years, we will see how she's done in prison and see if she is able to get out on parole. But something tells me she is probably not going to be a model prisoner, but I guess time will tell. I appreciate you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.